Welcome to Sacral Chakra. So just a little bit of information about this chakra, the second chakra, that sits 2 spaces below your belly button, 2 finger spaces below your belly button. So the sacral chakra is otherwise known as Svadhisthana, and this is the second primary chakra. So it's the second chakra of the first 3, which is all about the ego. And this energy center is where you harness your creativity, your passion, your sensuality, and sexuality. And in terms of the development of the human, this is when the time from when you're 8 to 14 is when this will start to develop. And you'll start to understand your passions, and you'll be able to explore ways that ignite your creativity and start to dip your toes into sexuality. And that really begins with your own exploration of what that means around this age. And I believe that in order to have a relationship with somebody else, the relationship with yourself and the trust with yourself with regards to sexuality and sensuality needs to be fostered, and it is this age when this will take place. So like the root chakra, this chakra is all about ego driven, and it is one of the developing survival chakras. It's the basis to developing survival skills. So for example, if there's any sexual trauma or anything that's with regards to sacred sex, so perhaps a partnership that there was a bit of trauma around that area, this is when you're going to start to see some blockages. And that will, if you have those blockages, you will find it difficult to tap into your creative side. You'll be blocked sexually and sensually. And so the point is to really find what it is, what the issue was, and to get to the root cause of it and to release that, and then to be able to nurture the chakra and then move forward so that you can flow. And a lot of tantric practices help with this release. A lot of tantric breath practices, Kundalini yoga specifically as well, they really work into releasing any pain, any trauma, any old stories that no longer serve us in this area. And if you think about us as a human race, the amount of sexual trauma and issues within the partnership, the sacred partnership, it goes back eons and eons and generations and generations. So this is a generational pain that we all feel, a universal pain. So there's a lot of work around that's going on, especially at the moment during this year, a lot of this release. And, it was really spurred on with movements like #MeToo and a lot of other stuff that's coming up over the last few years to really face what's happened in our society with sex and how it is used to exploit and to manipulate. And this is something that needs to be addressed so that we can change it. So when it is being addressed, the collective is going to feel it. They're going to have to face it. And this is why this is a beautiful time to be able to really nurture this part of us, this chakra, as an individual and as a collective. It is believed that in order to feel sensual and to be sexual, it is important to master like I was saying, to master the ability to do that with yourself, to feel sexy, to feel sensual, to be confident and to be comfortable with your own sexuality, so that you can then go forth without any insecurities and without any baggages and have a sacred relationship with somebody else. And it is believed that your sexuality as a woman is where your power lies. This is where all of your energy and your fire lies. And the trick for us is to use it, to learn how to use it for good, and not to use it for power, control, and manipulation. And so I believe that surrendering to the divine, making friends with your inner masculine, and letting go judgments and old stories about the toxic masculine that still surrounds us today in relationships and in the collective, if we can learn to live with that, if we can learn to forgive, we will be able to really take that energy that we've been given, take that magic that sits in the base, in the roots and in the sacral, and use that to help to heal the collective in such a powerful way. So when the sacral chakra is blocked, you're going to lose your passion for life. You're going to stop doing what you love, and you're going to kind of just go on a mission of not connecting and not being connected with yourself, doing things that don't speak to you. There's not going to be any passion in your life. There's not going to be creativity that comes easy. And this is going to be one of the things that happen when you have a blocked sacral chakra. You're going to have issues with sexuality. You're going to have issues tapping into that sensual part of you and lose connection with yourself. And this can look like depression, feeling unattractive, not wanting to be around other people, not feeling social. You'll also feel stuck and uninspired to move forward and fearful to move forward. And this can manifest in fear or in change, in fear of change. But the biggest issue with the sacral chakra is fear of death. And this is something that, as a collective, especially what's happening in the last few years and what's happening now, is this fear of death and this fear of not trusting the planet and trusting the universe and trusting Mother Nature and not knowing what's on the other side. And so essentially what this is starting this journey of connecting with the divine, connecting of that what's more than you, what's bigger than you, whatever that means to you, so that you have that belief and that innate feeling that we are more than just this life, and that there is something even better and beautiful and more beautiful on the other side, so that we don't fear everything that we do. We don't live in fear. We don't sit at home and control everything because we're scared of death, because we think it's the end. And this is a very big issue with the sacral chakra. It's that constant living in the future. And we've all been living like that. You know, when's the next holiday? When's the next this? And this time, it's, you know, during the pandemic, it has stopped us. It has made us believe that, or learn that we have to live in the moment because we don't have any other choice. And it's a huge lesson of the collective that we all had to learn to live in the moment and to not live for the future. And this is helpful to overcome that fear of death. So physically, you may experience pain with your sexual organs. You may have very intense period pains. You may have any physical disease that sort of exists around that lower area, the sacrum, so that bone right at the bottom of the bum, that can also get in pain. So it's that real lower back pain, also quite glutey, and it's very close to the root chakra, and they are quite connected in what they harness and what they foster. And belly, so the belly as well. And so in order to balance this, doing practices like yoga and especially dance, I find I've had a lot of issues around my sacral chakra, and I find dance, specifically belly dancing, has helped me to release any blockages, physical blockages around that area. And when you are balanced, you will feel radiant, you will feel confident, you will feel in flow, you will feel sexy and sensual, and you'll be able to make really big life decisions. You'll be able to take chances. You won't have a crippling fear of death and the unknown, and you'll be taking chances on big adventures. You'll feel really connected to yourself and to your partner, and use that energy that is created in lovemaking to add to the creativity. So so sex will become an act of adding to your creativity in a positive way rather than detracting. And you will feel passionate about what you do every day and explore ways to ensure that what you do daily as a job is something that ignites that creative side in you. And so therefore, when you're doing that, when you're living your dharma, is what we call it in yoga, so you're living what you are supposed to be giving back to this planet, when you're doing that, it's a constant flow of give and take and give and take. And therefore, you're giving back to the collective.